you're handed the franchise. You have to pick one of the 4 players who are under 25 to start your franchise with.
Yeah.
You have Ronald Acuna Jr., Fernando Tatis Jr., Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Juan Soto. I felt like I should say Jr., but he's not, so I can't say that. But anyway, you got Juan Soto. So which of those 4 do you pick to start your franchise with?
It's funny. So Clark and I actually did this on our first start bench cut. This was the collection of players just without Vlad Guerrero.
Yeah.
And so as my viewers would know, on those segments, I don't give my answers. So it's fun now. I get to answer the question.
Yes, that's why I asked
Yeah.
it, because I was like, he didn't tell me. I know what Clark said, but I was curious what you said.
So for those that don't know, Clark said it's Juan Soto, and I tend to agree. I think Juan Soto, out of these, he's the most natural hitter in the league. If you look at his stats savant, he's off the charts. His OPS is insane every single year. He's getting on base. He's slugging the ball. He can do everything. It sucks that he's being stuck on the Nationals right now, because the Nationals are just doing nothing and they're garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy that he might get traded at the deadline. I mean, I'm excited to see if he actually does, what that trade package looks like, because Juan Soto is a generational player. I mean, all these guys are. I don't want to slight Vlad Guerrero, Ronald Acuna, or Fernando Tatis. They're all amazing players. They're all really good. Every fan of these teams should feel really excited that they have them. But Soto, in my opinion, is just probably the best all-around hitter out of all of them. He is able to see the ball really well. He gets on base a ton. He's constantly honestly, it feels like early Mike Trout with Juan Soto. How Mike Trout was when he first came into the league, it was just crazy. I mean, his power was off the charts. He was getting on base all the time. He was driving in runs. That's how it feels with Juan Soto. Every time Juan Soto's up to the plate, it really feels like something special is going to happen. It just sucks that he's being shoehorned onto the Nationals, because they have literally nothing and their team is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But then talked about the other guys. Ronald Acuna, obviously really good with the Braves. I don't know why he signed. Speaking of extensions, I don't know why he signed that 8-year, $35 million deal. Good for the Braves getting him for that. I don't know why he did that. That's got to be an all-time just horrible move by a player.
Well, that's why Freeman is now a Dodger, because apparently he's got the same agent. So he was like, let's keep Acuna here. We'll take Freeman away. No, I'm just kidding.
I totally get it. And then Tatis, we already talked about, really good player. And then Vlad probably has the best natural power out of any of these guys.
Yes.
He can just club the ball out of the park. He's such a nice player. Now, the one thing I will say about all of these guys is none of them are great defenders. Now, there are I think they're all pretty much average at best. Acuna is probably the best out of the bunch, but none of them really provide like immense value. Kind of like, this is where when we talk about 5-tool players like Mike Trout is a better defender than all these guys.
Yeah. But it's Mike Trout. I mean,
it's Mike Trout for sure. But when we talk about 5-tool players, which all of these guys I would argue are, they're not at the same defense level that Mike Trout is at. I mean, that doesn't mean they can't develop into that. Tatis had the most errors in the league last year, which is a crux on him. But then his fielding percentage is incredible. He is the best at getting balls that he should not get. But the problem is he just throws them away when he gets them. So these guys are all going to improve. They're all great players, but I would go with Juan Soto.
I agree. I picked Juan Soto when we did this, and it's exactly what you were saying. He's the best hitter. He's the absolute teammate. I mean, he's a great teammate. He just will do anything to win. I mean, when he came up, when Bryce Harper was still there, he just was like, okay, I'll just do whatever you need me to do, Bryce. Bryce left, and one was like, okay, I'll take over the team. Like, it was so natural to him. I don't think I've ever seen the like smoothest transition ever like that before. I do love Juan Soto that so much. I actually think he's actually pretty good at defending, but I think his arm is better than any of these other guys.
Oh, for sure.
I do think Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I think he's actually been improving each and every year on his defense. Now, I'm going to date myself here, Ethan, but I remember watching his dad play for the Montreal Expos.
Yeah.
So, and the swings from both from father and son is so like, it's like doppelganger-ish. It's crazy. It's almost the same freaking swing. And I'm like, I only wish that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. didn't have batting gloves because his dad only used pine tar and he had no batting gloves, and this guy would still rake him out of the ballpark. It was so, I just remember that, and I sound so old right now, but I love Vladimir Guerrero when obviously his dad, I loved him when he played. It was just so unfortunate that he was on the Expos. And now I feel that same way with like Juan Soto, but I think Juan Soto is a little bit better. I think Juan Soto could be this tremendous player, and he's going to be traded to the San Francisco Giants. So I don't know what else to say.
I mean, no one wants to talk about it, but he's probably getting traded to the Dodgers.
I know, dude. It's going to happen, and it bugs the crap out of me.
If that happens, Drew, we're never going to hear the end of it. So,
oh man, my wife will just shove it in my face constantly.
Yeah. Very cool.
Well, thank you for answering that. I was very curious because I know Clark picked Juan Soto.
Yeah,
Clark I had picked Juan Soto, and I was like, Ethan never said it, so I kind of want to know. So I'm glad. I'm glad you got to answer it. Yeah, I'm glad you got to answer it though. So
thanks for giving me a platform.